It's a big challenge for every mom every year. What to keep? As the end of a school year approaches, you gather a lot of special mementos to commemorate these chapters of life. Mementos equals paper. A lot of paper comes home in those backpacks. Well, my first guest says with the right box, you can turn all of that paper chaos into a curated time capsule that you'll want to keep, and they will one day appreciate. Alexia Halliday with Nice and Neat Homes is here to help us assemble a memory box. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me.
You're right on time. You're right on time. You hear this from women all of the time. It's so overwhelming, isn't it, to know what to save, what to toss, what to keep, what to get rid of. You hear that question, I'm sure, constantly.
Yes, it is a daunting question that's always nagging at a parent to figure out what to keep and what to hang on to.
Absolutely. And then how does a memory box help with that?
It really just helps streamline what you're keeping and being really intentional. So rather than just throwing everything into a bin that you'll deal with later, it's already an established system. So every year you can keep up on it and you can just select what's going to be kept. And it just has a structured limit too, right? So it's like, okay, I only have so much room, so what's going to be the most important?
That file folder can only hold 40 papers or whatever. Exactly. So once I reach max, I cut myself off. Yes. And I do love the idea of setting yourself up for success ahead of time. This I appreciate as well. You told my producer that there can be a creative element to this, that if you feel guilty, moms, for not, keeping up on the scrapbooking, this can sort of replace that creative urge.
Exactly, yeah. Scrapbooking can be very detailed. It takes really time consuming, and this is just a low maintenance way to still get the sentimental value of your keepsakes.
We're focusing on 2 milestones today, since we know they are top of mind: graduation, and with that chapter of life, for some comes a mission or a service opportunity for a church or otherwise. Let's start with graduation. What should we be saving?
Yeah, think tassels, any honorary not diplomas, I guess also diploma, but honorary certificates, maybe letters from their favorite teacher, yearbook, that sort of thing that can just honor this special time in their life.
I love the idea of a letter from a teacher or even a friend. Do people still write letters? I hope so. Maybe we're printing text messages. I don't know. I don't know.
Yearbook maybe has some of their friends as well that are writing a note.
And for moms who are maybe helping a child with their collections from a big life experience like a mission, what would you suggest for that?
Yeah, so that might be name tags, souvenirs. I know emails are a little bit more common than letters these days, so maybe printing off some of the special emails and just making sure that you're commemorating that special time, but consolidating it into one keepsake.
You say this process of sorting and deciding can actually be a really sweet bonding experience.
Yeah. So with kind of an example, say you're starting with your kids really young and you are going to commemorate them from infancy all the way until they graduate. And so every year we kind of have these examples of a all about me interview. So essentially you are going to give them an interview every school year. So you put their school picture here, ask them these questions, and kind of be able to freeze them in that time, and then you can track it over the years. So it can just be a fun annual tradition that you do with your kids.
That is so sweet and so smart. I feel like that one piece of paper could replace 10 different art projects, right? That communicate their favorite color or their favorite, fill in the blank. That paper sort of does that for you.
Yeah, and just kind of setting that you're going to do it whether it's beginning of the year or end of the year, and just kind of creating that annual tradition. It can just be a little, again, going back to low maintenance. It's just less daunting of something you have to do all year long, and just kind of setting aside the time once a year.
And I love the chance, even in the small in-betweens, like, I don't know, when mom's caught by the garbage can with a certain piece of paper that we didn't realize was that important. I like the opportunity to chat and say, well, do you want this to go in your special box? And loop them in on that.
Yeah, and kind of a tip that we often give to clients as well is, say you have a locker and you have a bin that at the end of every day you're putting your papers in there, then taking that time to say, okay, this bin's full, let's go through this and pick what's going to go in your memory box. So you're just setting aside that intentional time to sort through and streamline.
And you like the idea of light and easy, like this mantra that we can be flexible, this doesn't have to be huge and hard.
Yes, absolutely.
That will serve, I think, that purpose as well, just knowing as we go that this doesn't have to be pressure-packed, right? And you like broad categories?
Yes, so broad categories. So, depending on what kind of system you decide to go with, if you're starting with little kids and you're doing it by school year, or, like your graduate, you're kind of doing more general categories. Just kind of sort out what you have and what you're wanting to keep, and then you can decide what labels you want to do, what tags.
Smart.
So then from there you can streamline it, just make it really simple. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, but just make sure you're labeling and setting aside that structure and that system.
So I know, like, for example, in my stage, artwork would deserve a really big folder, but in other stages of life, as you look at the keepsakes, you might decide on different categories just based on what you have.
Yeah, so like an adult may want to look more general rather than by year, and so it's like, I'm going to do all my travel together, any accomplishments that I've had. So again, kind of going back to that graduate, you're kind of looking at the bigger picture of honors, maybe it's extracurricular they were doing, that sort of thing. So just starting broad.
What box works well? You're going to show us how we do this. What box do you recommend?
Yeah, so a file box like this where you can use a hanging folder in it is going to be the best solution. So then it just is nice. It can snap shut, keeps it contained, and this could be one box per child or one per theme, kind of depending on how you want to do it.
And the pretty linen boxes always capture my attention, but it's like we have to go for practical here, right? This is serving a real purpose.
Exactly, and then it's just an easy box that when they're out of the house, you can hand to them, and it's like, here's all your keepsakes and all the things that kind of mattered and show what you were like growing up.
You personalize this and then you label it with the different categories that we talked about, so each file folder has its own little chapter, its own little piece of their story.
Yep, so every tab just can go in here. It's just an easy system. You're filling it up as you go, whether it's chronologically or you're going by the categories alphabetically.
Smart ways to think of it, Alexia. Thank you so much. And your company does this. You mentioned clients. You help people kind of sort through with your kits or with your DIY options. How can we shop your products?
Yeah, niceandneathomes.com is where you can find us. We offer the starter kits to kind of have the components to pick your own box but assemble it yourself, or we have the fully assembled boxes if you just want the lowest maintenance and you can just have it ready to go.
Yeah, check that box. No pun intended. Nice and
Neat Homes.
Nice and Neat Homes. We'll link you from our website if you want to click over and get it sorted and started. And once you've done it the way Alexia has taught, you're set up for the long haul. So thank you for helping us fill that need.
Thank you so much.